All right. Good morning. It's Thursday, last full day of the week, last quote unquote hard day of work for social studies. Tomorrow we have a nice, easy day of just watching a video or probably watch like CNN 10 and a corny Middle Ages horrible history video. So that's the plan for tomorrow. But for today, we are finishing off our chapter. We're learning about crime and punishment and leisure and entertainment. Another image you can use is this image right here. It's the same, almost the same picture, but without people. So you can use this image up here, which is kind of hard to see because I have it zoomed in, which is the same one that's been on the slideshow. Or you can use this one here, which I actually like better. There's a lot going on here for crime and punishment and leisure and entertainment. There's a lot more stuff going on. All right, so same as yesterday, you have two sets of 4 questions. You can choose 2 from each section to answer, at least 2 from each section to answer of crime and punishment and leisure and entertainment, and then find one thing from either image, either the blank image, this one, or the full image with all the people, this one. And find something from what you read today and relate it to either image. All right, questions from section 4.7, crime and punishment. Why were towns in medieval Europe dangerous places? What were 2 methods for deciding the guilt or innocence of accused criminals in the early Middle Ages? What were some ways criminals were punished in medieval Europe? And how did the way in which those accused of crimes were treated begin to improve in the 12th century? So let's read and find out. All right. Section 4.7, crime and punishment. Besides being unhealthy, medieval towns were noisy, crowded, and often unsafe. Pickpockets and thieves were always on the lookout for travelers with money in their pouches. Towns were especially dangerous at night because there were no streetlights. Night watchmen patrolled the streets with candle lanterns to deter or discourage criminals. People accused of crimes were held in dirty, crowded jails. Prisoners had to rely on friends and family in order to bring them food or money. It was not provided for them. Otherwise, they might starve. Wealthy people sometimes left money in their wills to help prisoners buy food. In the early Middle Ages, trial by ordeal or combat was often used to establish an accused person's guilt or innocence. In a trial by ordeal, the accused person had to pass a dangerous test, such as being thrown into a deep well. Unfortunately, a person who floated instead of drowning was declared guilty. So if they floated and lived, they were guilty because he or she had been rejected by the water. In a trial by combat, the accused person who had to fight or prove his or her innocence. People believe that God would make sure the right party won. Clergy, women, children, and disabled people could name a champion to fight for them. Again, back to the drowning. If you drowned, that means you were innocent and you still died anyway. So not very fair decisions in terms of guilt and innocence. Punishments for crimes were very harsh. For lesser crimes, people were fined or put in the stocks. The stocks were a wooden frame with holes for a person's legs and sometimes arms. Being left in the stocks for hours and days were both painful and humiliating. People were found guilty of serious crimes such as highway robbery, stealing livestock, treason, or murder could be hanged or burned at the stake. Executions were carried out in public, often in front of large crowds. In most parts of Europe, important lords shared with kings the power to prosecute major crimes. In England, kings in the early 1100s began setting up a nationwide system of royal courts. The decisions of royal judges contributed to a growing body of common law. Along with an independent judiciary or court system, English common law would become an important safeguard of individuals' rights. Throughout Europe, court inquiries based on written and oral evidence eventually replaced trial by ordeal and combat. So things got better. That would be the last question if you were answering that last question. All right, the next set of questions on leisure and entertainment. What were some games that were popular with children in medieval Europe? What were some leisure activities enjoyed by adults? What was the difference between mystery and miracle plays? And how did the church's attitude towards mystery and miracle plays differ from that of most townspeople? Leisure and entertainment. This is another scene from a town, kind of similar to what we saw in the picture, just kind of focused on the stage. Although many aspects of town life were difficult and people worked hard, they also participated in many leisure activities. Medieval people engaged in many of the same activities we enjoy today. Children played with dolls and toys, such as wooden swords and hobby horses. They rolled hoops and played games like badminton, which is kind of like volleyball, but you have the rackets and a net, and you have to hit the birdie over it. Lawn bowling and blind man's bluff. Adults also like games such as chess, checkers, and backgammon. They might gather to play card games, bet on rolls of dice, or go dancing, although the church frowned on these activities. Townspeople also took time off from their work to celebrate days such as religious feasts. On Sundays and holidays, animal baiting was a popular, though cruel, amusement. First, a bull or bear was fastened to a stake by a chain around its neck or a back leg, and sometimes a nose ring. Then, specially trained dogs were set loose to torment the captive animal. Fair days were especially colorful. Jugglers, dancers, clowns, and minstrels entertained the fairgoers. Guild members paraded through the streets, dressed in special costumes and carrying banners. Guilds also put on mystery plays in which they acted out stories from the Bible. Often they performed stories that were appropriate to their guild. In some towns, for instance, the boat builders acted out the story of Noah. In this story, Noah had an ark, a boat, to survive a flood that God sent to cleanse the world of people. In other towns, the coopers, barrel makers, acted out this story. The coopers put hundreds of barrels filled with water on the rooftops. Then they let water out to represent the 40 days of rain the story tells about. Mystery plays gave rise to another type of religious drama, the miracle play. These plays dramatized the lives of saints. Often they showed the saints performing miracles or wonders. For example, in England, it was popular to portray the story of St. George, who slew a dragon that was about to eat the daughter of a king. The church eventually disapproved of both mystery and miracle plays, but people still enjoyed seeing them acted out in the streets or public square. All right, so that's the two sections. You have the 4 questions from each. You choose 2 from each, and then find one thing in the image from either one. Remember, you can use the empty image as well up at the top of the chapter. This one or the full image on the slideshow. All right, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. This is the last full day of the week, and enjoy.